through Friday from 7 to 9. When you see that notification, we about to go live. Hit this track and do you dance like you Karen Lacey. Run it back and turn Matthew to the house, baby. It's Tingle and Co. From 7 to 9. Come keep with the show. It's a new era. Let's get it, let's go. From 7 to 9. It's Tingle and Co. From 7 to 9, when you see that notification, we about to go live. Hit this track and do you dance like you Karen Lacey. Run it back and turn Matthew to the house, baby. It's Tingle and Co. From 7 to 9, come keep with the show. It's a new era. Let's get it, let's go. From 7 to 9, it's Tingle and Co. From 7 to 9, when you see that notification, we about to go live. Hit this track and do you dance like you Karen Lacey. Run it back and turn Matthew to the house, baby. It's Tingle and Co. From 7 to 9, come keep with the show. It's a new era. Let's get it, let's go. From 7 to 9, it's Tingle and Co. From 7 to 9, when you see that notification, we about to go live. Hit this track and do you dance like you Karen Lacey. Run it back and turn Matthew to the house, baby. It's Tingle and Co. From 7 to 9, come keep with the show. It's a new era. Let's get it, let's go. From 7 to 9, it's Tingle and Co.
All right, welcome in here on this Tuesday morning, October 14th, as we are rolling through the month of October. Got it started off right. The Tigers are 1-0 in a pivotal month of college football. We appreciate you joining us here as we are live from our Southern Regional Medical Center studios. Shout out to Jason Randazon, Charles Harvey, BJ, Kevin, the whole team here at SRMC, as they've been a huge part of the process of us getting in here. They've helped put the desk together and get stuff situated. They've been great. Make sure you go check them out on all their social media pages, Facebook, Instagram. They're putting out some really good content there. Shout out to Southern Regional Medical Center. But we appreciate all of you joining us this morning. Shout out to y'all. Chef, Bo, Cordell, Sabrion, Bo, Brian, Slat, Paul, Nathan, everybody. Kenny getting in the chat this morning. We appreciate each and every one of you. Lloyd, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing well. We also have Wyatt in studio with us this morning. If you have seen some of the fun, different social media content we put out, that is Wyatt that has joined our team. Has come up with some good ideas and been putting some real good stuff out. So Wyatt, we appreciate you. Shout out to him getting in here in the studio this morning to join us. But got a handful of things we'll roll through this morning. But Lloyd, how was Mikey?
Oh, excellent. We somebody Sab was saying that we were still live for mic'd up. We're not. I just had to go check. But no, 6 to 8, not 4 a.m.
There you go.
I don't know which one would be better, but we did. We had Cam Vaughn in, former linebacker from LSU. Obviously, Jay Mitchell in. They were also, and I think you've swung the pendulum to this side as well, a bit more positive of what they saw from LSU. I don't know if it was the pressure that helped, or if you just removed yourself from the Saturday strife and into a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday of, oh, okay.
Yeah, no, I think for me, I guess it's almost the further away from the game that I've gotten, the better I felt about it, because I guess the emotion dwindles down and maybe dissipates a little bit. The emotion you feel during the game dissipates. We'll get into that conversation at 8 a.m. this morning as we're joined by Glenn West. Glenny Dubs will get in here and talk some LSU football with us. He was a part of BK's press conference yesterday, and we'll ask him his thoughts on what he saw Saturday night. We'll do the same at 8:30 a.m. with John Eads, but he will also go in depth on some fall ball as he was there over the weekend watching LSU baseball in Vanderbilt Stadium. But like Lloyd said, Brian Kelly met with the media yesterday to recap South Carolina, preview Vanderbilt, and he also gave an injury update, and we will start there as there were a handful. It was quite the list, but it was overall positive, the news that came out from an injury standpoint. Aaron Anderson's progressing. Durham has a mild hip pointer, but will be fine. Braylon Moore had a stinger, but looks good. Paul Mabanga should be available. Nussmeier with a slight ankle sprain should be fine. Gooden with a collarbone. It's just a bruise, not a break. Jamari Butler, it was an ankle, not a high ankle, and he said probably yesterday, BK did. And then Whit Weeks is just sore, as I'm sure a lot of the team probably is. So that was the injury update. All good news, all exciting news. Maybe going into Vandy with not the full roster. Obviously, you're still missing Gabe Relaford, injuries like that, but being back to somewhat full health. And I guess that's part of maybe what's impressive about Saturday was that you weren't full health. You didn't have your number one receiver in Aaron Anderson. You had some shakeup injury-wise, and you were still able to put together the offensive performance that you did.
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think that if there's one room that you can take some lumps in, it's the wide receiver room. You saw Kyle Parker be able to step up. Obviously, Aaron Anderson, vital to what you do on the offensive side of the football, with kind of being the one guy that still has some camaraderie with us, that comes back and actually was your leading receiver last year. Like, that's somebody he looks to a lot. But kudos to Kyle Parker he keeps just showing up. Like, you add Nick Anderson, obviously there's still this Chris Hilton affair that you're trying to get up and moving.
Right.
You have, Xavion Thomas, Barryon Brown. You bring in all of these guys, and it's the one guy that you recruited.
Right.
Kyle Parker that continues just to find his way on the football field, and every time he does, he makes a play, whether it be UCLA last year or Clemson, and then now you see him again pop up where he scored more touchdowns than Aaron Anderson has, which is shocking.
Right. No, I agree. And that's one of the sound bites that was interesting listening to Brian Kelly yesterday was him. When he was talking about Trey'Dez Green, he kind of went on this discussion about that they want to continue to use him like that, but if he continues to put up performances like that, obviously defenses will lock in on him, identify him, and make it different. He was like, that's where the dynamic aspect of this offense came in, and he rattled off names like Barryon Brown, Xavion Thomas, and those guys. And that's kind of the next level you want to see the offense get to. Also, along with some of the Brian Kelly sound, we will go into the keys to victory that Lloyd and myself laid out last Friday. The 3 things we each wanted to see LSU put together to find a way to beat South Carolina in Death Valley. We'll revisit those and discuss kind of where they met that standard, where they fell short, and if they truly played a role in that victory. We'll also discuss a little bit about the James Franklin firing and the shakeup that has followed. I've seen a lot of conversation on social media and I wanted to ask the chat this morning while we have you in here, if you agree or disagree with the firing of James Franklin, if you thought maybe Penn State moved a little soon. They are 1 year removed from what they were basically. They lost in the semifinals to Notre Dame, didn't make it to the actual the dance, but they were just a couple of plays away from a national championship berth. But they obviously dropped 3 games this season and make the move to fire James Franklin. And it's crazy because thinking about kind of Coach O's situation, you sit back and you're like, well, I mean, they moved a little fast. 2 years after a national title, this, that, and the other. But this is 1 year removed from almost making a national championship berth and consistently winning 10 games, and now dropping 3 in a row.
You're fired.
And fired quickly. So I want to ask the chat, Lloyd, I want to ask you to weigh in as well. Do you feel like it was the right decision, maybe a bit too soon?
I feel like if you were going to do it, now is the time to do it, because I don't know where it goes from here. Like, you obviously saw you're a play away from beating Oregon, and you have the whiteout. It's the biggest home game of the year. You go to double overtime. You still feel like everything's right in front of you, and then you drop 2 more after that. You've lost 3 in a row, 1 to UCLA and 1 to Northwestern. Those are games that you have to win. Then your starting quarterback goes down that you put all your stock into, and this is what happens when you have the amount of money that Penn State has,
obviously.
And you put that amount of money into it. And so if you don't get a return on your investment quickly, it's all right, fine. If we're willing to pony up this much for a roster, we better be willing to pony up this much for a coach. And it seems like a $50 million to them is nothing.
Yeah,
that was decided
apparently.
very quickly.
Right.
And I'm always of the opinion Penn State has never been anything to me. Like, as long as I've been alive, they haven't mattered.
Right.
And I know they see themselves as an old school blue blood, like a real player in college football. And if I were in the Big 12, is that what they're in? Big 12, Big 10, either one of those conferences, I would think the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's wide open for us to every year we should be contending for a national championship. Clearly, it feels like they didn't think James Franklin was that guy, and it's kind of run its course. He's there for like 12 years,
right? Which
I don't think it doesn't feel like it's been that long.
Yeah.
But he got Vanderbilt up and moving, and then he kind of got them, and it was like it was considered a place that it was impossible to win.
Right.
And he was able to do that, and he gets the big leap to Penn State. They've kind of done what it reminds me more of less than it does of O.
Yeah.
Where it's 10 wins is not enough.
And on top of that, they also have that
boogeyman.
Yeah, the boogeyman in Ohio State that was Alabama for LSU for so long. But yeah, I think Sabrion said it well right there with you. He said, I think Penn State knew their ceiling with Franklin, and he's reached it. Paul Zarang, I think programs will have shorter leases with coaches now that there's so much money being invested into rosters. I agree. I mean, I think it was definitely quick, but I agree in the fact that, like, you saw what you've witnessed over the last 3 games was a big loss in a game where they performed relatively well against a good Oregon team.
That was not a fireable offense.
Pushed all their chips into the table, tried to win that game, and they didn't. And after that, what you saw was essentially a crumble, like where it's almost like a loss of control of the program, where like you can't recover from that and get right to beat a UCLA team that had no wins, or then roll into a game against Northwestern that should be a rent-a-win almost every year. Like, and I agree. Like, I don't think it's as much O. I was just more so comparing like the timing and how fast it was, because O was a different situation. There were many factors into a case, but I agree with you that this does kind of feel like maybe the Les Miles era of Penn State, where he's kind of reached the ceiling, and they obviously are not okay with 10 wins and leaving it at that. They're not okay with 10 wins, missing the playoff, because really, we said at preseason, there's no reason Ohio State and Penn State shouldn't make the playoff every year with the Big Ten schedule and where they're at. Like, the money you have, obviously, and the schedule you play, you should make it every single year. And it obviously this season, it didn't look like that was moving in the direction. So I just wanted to see where everyone was standing, because I also feel like there's a lot of people that are playing the comparison game almost between Penn State and LSU. Like, I think the situations are different, but I have seen some people, and maybe it's been stirred up by the conversation of BK and Penn State. That I don't really know where that originated, but those things happen every time a job opens. Have you witnessed the comparison game between maybe where LSU's at, the decision Penn State made, and the place LSU is, even though I think they're in different areas? Like, BK's on year 4, that's year 12. LSU's 5-1, although there are some mistakes. They're not sitting at 3 straight losses like Penn State was.
I think they've both been labeled as underachievers. Where James Franklin, it was great team gets to the precipice of the playoff, loses the big game, or it never felt like even during the regular season for a big game he couldn't win it. He was like 6-25 against top 10 teams in these matchups, and at some point that wears on you. Brian Kelly kind of in that same boat of, hey, he can make your program good, but can it be great?
Right.
And that's where you've seen Brian Kelly also get to the doorstep of a national championship, get into a playoff, can't win in either one of those scenarios, gets to an SEC championship, can't win. And so that's where I think the comparison is like, this guy can run a program.
Right.
I don't know if he can win a national championship. And you're seeing that more this year than ever, where they have all of the pieces, but doesn't feel like you're playing complimentary football. And that's been the Brian Kelly story at LSU up to this point, where phenomenal athletes, phenomenal offense, worst defense ever at LSU.
Yeah.
Now you have phenomenal defense, one looking like one of the best ones that LSU's had in quite some time. Can't move the ball on offense.
Right.
And that's a point of frustration that people will be like, fuck out.
Yeah.
Like, if you can't figure this thing out with everything that we did, that's what has happened to Penn State. They gave him everything.
Yeah.
And they said, all right, fine, you can't win like this. You're going to lose 3 straight. Bye. See ya.
Yeah, no, and it's but I think the craziest part, do you feel like Penn State in this cycle will be able to hire a coach that's better than what James Franklin was?
I mean, you've already had Matt Rule go to the podium and be like, I love Penn State. Why would you even ask me about this? Like, Matt Rule, you have to make a decision of, like, you can't say both.
Buddy.
And Matt Rule was one of those guys that is an island hopper. He'll go from one program to another. He's already had, but he went from, he's at
Temple to
Baylor
to Carolina.
Yes, to now Nebraska, and now maybe Penn State. And he just keeps jumping around from job to job, and somehow, I mean, I think Matt Rule's a good college coach. I don't think he's been given enough time at Nebraska to be able to figure that thing out. But if he wants to leave to go to Penn State, I certainly wouldn't blame him.
Yeah. No, I mean, because
Nebraska thinks they should be in this conversation of winning a national championship every year, because they were in, the 80s, late 90s, mid-90s, like the blue blood.
Yeah.
It was Nebraska football, baby, the black shirts. And now they haven't been able to even come close to capturing that again. They thought Matt Rule was the guy. But I do think Penn State's going to take some massive hacks as who they want to be the coach, whether it be – I mean, that's why Brian Kelly is on that list.
Right, no, it's going to – because that, to me, that's the only reason you spend $50 million on a buyout is if you're like, no, we're for sure that we can go get one of those guys, those names, you know? You have to be sure in who your next hire will be. And that's the other thing is we're about to find out how much money Penn State's really got if they're going to pay that buyout. And if they want to snag a coach from another school, they're going to have to pay that buyout and then line the contract up. Like, it's –
No, these are not cheap decisions.
not at all.
I've never been one to think that a school won't do something because of money. Like, I've heard it with LSU. And I've always seen LSU find the money. If they want something done, if you're a power player in college football, you find the money.
Right.
Do people want to do it? Probably not. But for some reason, there's people out there that care so much about their program. They're like, $50 million, like, I can get 5 guys.
Yeah. No, I mean,
it's like, and they're like, I don't want to do this, but it comes to the point where if I'm going to complain about it every Saturday and I have the means to be able to change it, I will.
Yeah. No.
And you see these conversations more and more. And it's like, oh, this is actually how the game works.
Well, and now, I think that's right where Paul said, like, it's almost like with the new era of college football, it's like the leashes have gotten shorter.
Yeah.
Where, like, I think the 12-team playoff plays maybe the biggest role because it makes everyone feel like they should be in every year. And so the leash that you had with the 4-team where, like, you could go undefeated and still miss is kind of gone because now it's like, I mean, we're like even us looking at LSU. It's like a 12-team playoff. You should make that every single season,
Right.
Which I'm not saying is completely unrealistic because LSU should be able to win 10 wins each year because we've seen that before. But the sport has changed and now there is so much more money at the rev sharing and that's where I guess I'm impressed that the money was spent there with the rev share change. Like the fact that you're going to have to spend money on the roster, but you're still willing to throw out $50 million. But
the part that makes that interesting is we were talking about this a little bit before the show, but what does the contract look like for a head coach now? Because the days, it felt like, at least to me, the days of 10 years, $100 million guaranteed are done. Because we have to allocate these funds differently than we did before because you're trying to build a competitive roster through the portal and to have to pay players.
And I think coaches would almost take that to be like,
yeah,
give me, my pay, but like, let me know what you're going to spend here, and here, and how you're going to allocate this.
This is how I would like for it to work.
Right.
Like, you don't have to pay me $100 million. We'll do whatever the deal is, but I would like for this money to go here as opposed to going to be. Like, what's the difference? I mean, obviously you see it for Brian Kelly where he's comfortable enough to spend $1 million of his own dollars. Like, what's the difference between 50 and 100 million really if you win and then just re-up later? That's kind of like betting on yourself in a way, but I would imagine it is a tough conversation for some of these coaches that you wait so long in the profession to be able to get an opportunity like this because you start, literally everyone starts down here.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, man, if I get to be one of the best in the sport, there's my pay. It's like almost playing baseball.
Right.
Like you have to work your way through it, but then at the end of the rainbow is at least 10 years, $100 million all guaranteed, and if I get fired, I still get paid. And it's like a pretty sweet gig.
Right.
But now it's like, well, if I want to be able to win in the sport, I can't make the amount of money that I saw before me.
Right.
I have to put it into the roster.
Well, and that's where
if they're comfortable paying players.
That's where James Franklin's almost in like a great spot where he's about to get paid $50 million. I mean, and they're not going to just give him $50 million. Like he's going to get.
He'll get his money.
The dude in the chat said Franklin gets half in a month and then 2.7 after until it's paid year. Like they're going to draw it out, but like now he can keep taking that paycheck.
You don't have to do
and
anything.
Go to a program and be like, you only have to pay me this much. Spend the rest of that money on my roster,
or I'll put money in.
Like it is an interesting place where it can end up, and that's one thing I would be looking at. I think Franklin's going to be an interesting name around some of the jobs, and I think Penn State's going to be the biggest job that's open this cycle, and they're going to take some swings. I think they're going to take some big time swings. They went and paid and took, what was it, Ohio State's DC? Is that who they hired this past? Like they went out, they took a swing, paid for their conference rivals defensive coordinator over the offseason. So they're going to take some big time swings. So it'll be interesting to see how that shakeup continues through college football. If we see any more jobs open up, where Franklin ends up, all of that. And obviously LSU and Brian Kelly will continue to be a topic of conversation until they can reach the level where it doesn't feel like you're underachieving, because I do agree, Lloyd. I think that's why these two, there is the comparison aspect, is because LSU is also underachieving with as much as they committed. But into two claps this morning, I want to play this clip of Kayshon Boutte. JD posted on his Twitter account, Kayshon, after the Saints-Patriots game, where Kayshon looked excellent and reminded me of all the beautiful memories before he injured himself. In what year was that, 2021? I can think back to his freshman year, obviously, but then even the start he got off to in 2021 where he played great against UCLA, and then one of the memories I have in what was a terrible football game, but that season it was like my second time in the press box, and the first season I had covered, and I'm there, and it's the Auburn game where Kayshon takes the slant, goes way down the field, then Max Johnson gets sacked, and then it's the greatest throw I think Max Johnson has still thrown to this day, where Kayshon catches it over the defender, over the shoulder, in that front left corner of the end zone, and I'm sitting in the press box remembering that I have to be silent and not celebrate, and I'm freaking out at the table trying not to get pumped up. Here is the clip of Kayshon Boutte via Jacques Doucet from WAFB.
Yeah, I was say I wasn't always the person I wanted to be. 3-4 years ago, like I just said in the meeting, had a lot of off-the-field stuff, a lot of concerns, character concerns. But I mean, feel like I said, I wasn't where I wanted to be a couple of years ago, and I feel like everything finally coming together now. So, I mean, it's great. I watched it grow tremendously.
Pro football make you grow up a bit, or what's that like?
Yeah, at one point in time, it's kind of like reality. Reality hits you at some point. You can only do the stuff you're doing for so long. So.
I mean, shout out to Kayshawn. You've seen the maturation, the growth. Obviously, when you think back to what he started out as at LSU, the expectations were through the roof. Like I said, that freshman season, the start to 2021. And then 2022, he gets 7, doesn't quite step up and perform the way people expected, doesn't do the best during the combine, falters in the draft stock, didn't have the hottest start to his career.
I think he was coming back.
Well, I mean, originally.
It was just one of the most bizarre 3-year stretches, almost 4-year stretches with a player that it sums up the tenure perfectly. Like going into it was the highs of the highs of Ed Orgeron and the lows of the lows, and it kind of encapsulates Kayshawn's career. And you do have to give him credit for what he said, where it's like at some point you can only do this for so long. That's what we were saying his entire tenure. I was like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? What else are you going to
squander this?
You're a football player. Like you're treating this like it's not going to be your job later.
Right.
And so I'm glad he obviously goes to the right situation. And I think that the coaching change helped him tremendously. The Patriot way was kind of back.
Yeah,
and
with
Vrabel. With Vrabel. So there's no fuck around.
Yeah,
and it's like, dude, I'll cut you. And he goes to that scenario and realizes this is my job now. And so it's good for him to have that maturation point, I guess, because at one point it was, what are you doing?
Yeah, no, I remember it was head scratching. Really,
yeah, you're gambling on football. You're fat all the time. You won't play. Then you're like, well, I'll come back. It's like, oh, I can't come back because I'll be in trouble in college. It's like, just go. Yeah. And hopefully you figured out and land on your feet in the NFL, and it seems like he has.
I know, and it made me happy. One, watching he shined a little bit last season, watching him up to this point where he's playing well, and then obviously in the Dome he played quite well. And to hear him speak like that about his maturation, his growth, and Seville said that he's adulting. It's awesome to see because all the talent in the world, that was the biggest thing. The stressor was
it was frustrating.
You have all the talent in the world. Don't squander it. And so it's good to see that he is living up to it, and got those things right. Is always nice to see. So 2 claps for Kayshawn Boutte. Ready. Also, I don't know if anybody saw it. We're not going to run the clip because it's a little long, but Greg Brooks, the Atlanta Falcons, brought him into the facility. Raheem Morris and his wife, along with Ryan Clark, they brought Greg into the facility, let him go watch practice, go through the facility, gave him a jersey, met with the team. It was just a really cool moment. There's a clip in that video where Greg says that it's essentially this is one of the best days ever in my life or whatever, and it was just it was real emotional, and it was good to see just the smile that Greg continues to push on with, and shout out to the Atlanta Falcons, Coach Raheem Morris and his wife, for making that happen, letting Greg go and live part of his dream, and so that was really cool to see. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. I think Ryan Clark posted on his Twitter page. But it was really, really cool to see that story, and the way that Atlanta and the Falcons, as much as he's probably not an ATL guy, probably not a Falcons fan
from Louisiana,
but as much as that's the rivalry between New Orleans and Atlanta, it was really cool to see them bring him in and show him that love. But the keys to victory from last Friday, we'll touch on these real quick. Lloyd, I'll start with your 3. Start with limiting turnovers was your first key.
I didn't do that.
Where, if you were to grade where LSU fared in that realm, what would you give?
F.
Yeah, I think I agree. Your thought process behind it obviously was, you want to take care of the football and not give South Carolina opportunities and put your defense in a tough spot.
Yeah.
And you did that, but luckily defense stepped up and didn't allow it to bear any fruit. But yeah, no, limiting turnovers, I would agree. I'd give it an F. I mean, you saw.
Clearly not a key to victory.
No.
Guess it didn't matter.
Yeah, it didn't.
Because you couldn't have turned it over more, in more situations.
Right.
So you played well enough to, despite trying to beat yourself, not being able to beat yourself.
Yeah.
Turnover at the 1, turnover at the 10, and another interception that proved to be costly when we were moving the football.
Right.
And the same thing happened where the second interception, the RPO throw, you had just run the ball there. Like that's
right.
how you got to that. And then it's like, no, let's go back to throw it. And I appreciate trying to mix it up a little bit, but you're trying to, if you score there, that game's effectively over. And you're trying to choose some clock, and then it just Jay Mitch was saying this yesterday. He's like, don't put him in that situation to let Garrett Nussmeier make a decision like that. You almost have to coach around him at some points.
Well, I mean, Wyatt was saying it this morning where it's like you've got to button it up. When you get to that point, you can no longer be or that game or wherever. You have to be able to adapt and be like, instead of wearing my nasty pajama T-shirt, I'm going to put a suit and tie on right here and be professional.
Yeah,
and make a better decision.
Yeah, there's times where you can be cavalier with the football.
Right.
There's times where it's like, all right, I have to make the grown-up decision.
Right, and that's, I think, been the vision that we've all hoped for the longest with Nussmeier. And do we have the confidence that we'll actually ever see that growth of like...
Why would you?
So essentially you have to be able to coach around that, right? You have to make play calls and decisions to be like, we're not giving you the freedom to...
It's not an RPO, it's a handoff.
Right, you have to hand the football off.
And that's... I am stuck in between of how I want Garrett Nussmeier to look, because if you do try to coach around him or don't allow him to make some of these decisions, are you taking away what makes some of these throws? Because as mad as you are about the Kyle Parker throw, I'll raise you the Caden Durham throw.
Right.
Like, that's just who he is. You're just riding a roller coaster. And I would rather him try to make that throw than not, because it came at a time where you really needed a spark in your offense and you needed to get a first down. And that's what allowed you to do so. He fits it into between two people. Caden Durham dragged his feet. Like, Jesus, I didn't even know you could do that.
Right.
And so it's just like, well, if Garrett Nussmeier doesn't have the mentality that he does, you'll never see that play because that man was not open. But
no, not at all.
He saw a spot where he could fit the football in.
Yeah.
And
no, it is an interesting, like,
dynamic
paradox almost, where it's like, I don't know which...
If you have to do this to get that, then I guess that's what we're going to pick.
Because there's no gray. That's the thing. There's no gray area. There's no hope for this middle.
He's
balance.
just going to be good.
Right. So, and then your second one was offensive identity. You wanted LSU to, I guess, play to their strengths and be who they are, to not squander their offensive identity. How do you feel like LSU did with that?
I think you found. I guess what I was trying to say is to find an offensive identity,
right.
And it did feel like you were able to be a little bit more decisive in what you wanted to do, whether it be committing to running the football, finding different ways to get Trey Green the football. Like you established who your playmakers were. Caden Durham coming back is massive, and you saw them find for a game an identity in which they could run the football, where they did like 14 personnel. They got in the I formation. They ran power. They did all sorts of things to run the ball that you're like, all right, this can be a staple in your offense. You even had the Wildcat run, which I guess is power. Like you have to catch, it's quarterback power. And so you saw them do some different things offensively and also have a lineup and run the football. Like there was none of this or checking. It was, we're going to, as Brian Kelly continues to say, we got off the football. Yeah. Which is, we're in week 5. It seems like something that we should be getting off the football in high school. Right. But now we've taken a step back and it's like, I've got them to get off the football. Right. So that was concerning, but now it feels like they know how to do it. Even though I understand what he was trying to say. It's this sentiment of not being like a zone and pitter-pattering, and like now it was very decisive. Like, that's your attack point, go there. Yeah. And it seemed to work a little bit. So some sort of an identity. Yeah. No, I agree. I think you saw a more concerted effort, like you said, to find it and establish something. And I think, like you said, Trey Dez
and the run game, to me, were things that we talked about preseason. Like, this is kind of who you
should be.
Like, when you looked at the bowl game, I thought against Baylor was a really good example of how I thought they were going to use Trey Dez going into the season. Like, you saw without Mason Taylor and no Kamori and Pimpton in that game when Trey Dez was out there by himself, it was Trey Dez. What he had, like, doubled his catches, his yards, and touchdowns in that one football game compared to the season. You hadn't seen that until Saturday, and that's what I appreciate they found that. And then your third key was no explosives.
Only gave up one.
And you only gave up one, and it was a big one. But and that was where I wanted to circle back to your first one, where it was like limiting turnovers. You had the fumble at the one, and that was the explosive play after that. So you can see the swings that those things have. The where you said those were keys to victory. You see it right there. Like,
yes,
those are things that on the road or in maybe against tougher opponents can kill you.
It's a 14-point swing.
Right. You should be in the end zone. Instead, they just broke off a 72-yard run. Off of the first Nussmeier interception, the defense forces 7 plays, 13 yards, and a punt. And the second interception, 13 plays, 62 yards, and forces a punt. So credit the defense. They didn't allow those 2 picks to turn into anything. But that first fumble where you see LSU puts together, 13 plays, 71 yards, and fumbles at the 1, South Carolina turns that into 3 plays, 80 yards, touchdown, and a big explosive play, and those things can kill you. And that's what you got to get cleaned up. Can't let that happen. My first key was capitalizing on turnovers. And to look at it here, South Carolina fumbled at the 17, and you turn that into 3 points. Would have liked that to not be 4 plays, 7 yards, and instead have been a touchdown. But instead, it's just 3 points. So at least you got points off of that turnover.
After you went 3 and out.
Yeah, after you start the game 3 and out. Off the interception that Sellers throws, Nussmeier returns that with an interception. So it gives the football right back. So you don't capitalize on that turnover. And then on the turnovers on downs at the end, you got a field goal off of one, and the game ended after the other. So obviously it wasn't all that important in the game to capitalize on turnovers because you only capitalized on one of the 2, and you only got 3 points out of it. Everything else you did, you scored a touchdown to respond to their touchdown. You scored another touchdown off of the kickoff after a field goal. So like you scored after they put together drives, which is nice, but you just didn't capitalize on those turnovers. But so I would give it a low grade and an F because you didn't do so, but you didn't have to. 0 sacks was what I said. Keep Nussmeier upright, and they did that.
0 sacks. I thought about that yesterday.
Didn't get sacked, and so it was nice to see that. And then I said Sellers' arm, which essentially means make him one-dimensional. And I felt like LSU did a really good job with that. What was it? 22 carries, 19 yards, sack adjusted, and you made him throw the ball almost 30 times for 120 yards. And you made Sellers one-dimensional, and that took the South Carolina offense out of their rhythm and away from who they are. And credit the LSU defense for that. Blake Baker and his staff, they put together a great game plan. They made it happen. So all in all, our 3 keys were somewhat right, but they didn't actually, come to fruition in that LSU needed to do those things to be successful, but they found ways to win that football game.
Look at this ridiculous stat by Cole Kublik.
I saw that.
Lenore Sellers.
19 rushing yards on 22 attempts, but during the game he traveled 894 yards. How many yards are in a mile?
Ask Petey.
How many yards in a mile? Chat? Because that's got to be what? 894 yards is a lot.
1,760. You pick up that damn football, you run every goddamn one of them. You're killing me, Petey. You're killing me.
Shout out to the LSU defense, man. And that was part of the thing we said going into the game was like,
break my foot.
Make Sellers work. And they made Sellers work,
because if you would have watched the game and you would have seen this number, like, it sounds fake.
Oh yeah, but if you watch the
but if you watch the game, it's like, damn, he probably did run almost 1,000 yards to get 19. And
that's just, but that's a credit to the LSU. They were active. That defensive front was active.
Oh, that's why I believe it. Right. I saw Sellers because he also broke 1,000 tackles.
Right.
And it was
sideline to
insane
sideline.
to watch.
It was impressive, but like that's why.
But he didn't do it's crazy.
That's a credit to the LSU defense
because he didn't really do anything.
Right. No,
but I saw him run 900 yards.
Oh yeah. I'm surprised it's that low.
It just saw this way.
Just he was going back and forth and side to side and just wasn't able to make anything happen. That's a credit to the defense for. In a way, like even though they gave up the explosive in that one run,
it wasn't to him.
That wasn't the explosive we were really worried about. Like we were worried about Sellers breaking one off for 75.
900 yards were going to be actually horizontal.
Because I think Jalen Milroe also ran for 894 yards against LSU before.
Yes.
Last season.
And those played a different way.
Right. It was north and south.
Yes, these were east and west.
Right.
But do you think that he wakes up and he's like, sees that, he goes, what? I mean, what's the point of even trying to do this?
They're like going into the meeting room like, guys.
900 yards.
I ran 900 yards.
What
are we doing?
We scored 10 points.
Help me.
And one was a run that wasn't even me.
Right. Because that's the thing, man. If you take away the explosive, and I know it's nitpicking, that's playing the game where, if you take away this one play, well, you can't because it happened. But like,
same thing for LSU's offense. Like, well, if you take away the interception, and the fumble, well, you can't.
And so, like, but if you take away that one explosive, like South Carolina's offense didn't make anything.
There was never really a threat.
And that's where I'll turn the conversation here. The crowd. Because you've seen it go through social media. BK even alluded to it in his opening statement where he was like, credit to the fans for the atmosphere that started with, but I don't know, that didn't seem like it really made it
carried over.
The second. And he's right, like it didn't. And you were there. What do you accredit that aspect of the LSU fans leaving the most to? Because obviously there's the fans that are going to leave regardless because of traffic and contraflow and they want to beat the traffic and just blah, this, that, or the other. And I will never understand that. Like, when you make the decision to buy tickets and go to an LSU football game, you need to also come to terms with the fact that you are going to sit in contraflow. And it's just part of the experience. And either find a way around it by chilling at a tailgate after or deal with the fact you're going to be in the car.
I mean, I'm sure there's people that are very staunch in their opinions of leaving and, like, this is just how we do it. Because you see it my contention is there's 7 of these a year.
Right.
You've paid. You're there all day. The most important thing is probably the result of the game, and that happens at the end, which is something that you would want to be there for.
Right.
But you've made your mind up that I'll listen to what the end in the car, or will I get home in time to see it on TV?
No, you're listening to listening to the radio call. For most people, I mean, I'm sure there's people that do live closer, but like majority of them, like you're going to be listening to that game in the vehicle.
And it's easy to blame. I get it. I sit in traffic.
Right. It sucks.
But it's just is what it is. Or like there's, I'd one to if you have I'd imagine you have a tailgate or somewhere to go. If not, find one after and just like that's part of I think a part of the experience for me is being able to go back to a tailgate, watch some of the other games on TV, be able to watch the highlights of LSU, talk about it, like with the fellas, have a couple whatever, or sober up, however you want to live your life.
Right.
But then you get to almost like recap the game, and it's still fresh, and it's kind of a fun conversation to have, as opposed to just sitting in the car.
Yeah. No, and I will understand. Like, there's specific situations. Like, if you've got your children, little ones. Like
exactly, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's things that I can't speak to.
But my thought process when I'm looking at that crowd, and I think at what I attributed
not all those people could have kids.
The crowd dissipating the most to was one, the frustration.
Yes.
With where LSU is and the fact that. First drive of the game. We talked about it all last week. Like, if you go 3-0 to start that game,
I saw people get up and leave after that drive.
Like, and that was something that we almost anticipated.
Yeah,
which is sad. But
it was a bunch of this.
Here we go.
Like, he's leaving. Like, yep. And then obviously turned right back around after LSU forces a fumble in the first play. It's like, okay, I'm back.
Wait, what's that roar?
Yeah. Suck me back in.
Right. And so I attribute it mostly to that. and the fact that people were frustrated. And
it was a boring offensive game.
I think after a quarter, what was the score after the first? 3-0 maybe? Not. I mean, it wasn't much. Halftime was 7-3.
It wasn't
10-7. Yeah, 10-7 at halftime. LSU's ahead. So it's not like it's this fun game to sit and watch.
I mean, you were losing in the first quarter.
Right. And I also feel the second part of it that because I felt this at home, as much as LSU continued to give South Carolina opportunities, they were always in control of that football game. Like I don't think I ever doubted LSU was going to win for a second. Even like once LSU went ahead 10-7 and got to halftime, even though it never looked pretty and they still gave South Carolina opportunity after opportunity, I felt like LSU was always in control of the game.
And Dustmeyer's got to stop doing this. LSU forces a turnover, gets the interception.
Right. He throws one back.
He immediately gives the ball back.
Right
He does this a lot.
Yeah,
it's like it's a free possession for him. Like, oh, it doesn't matter.
we're
I'm not
supposed
supposed
to
to have this. Hey, you got 7 plays, 20 yards, get a pick, and this is a chance for you to like extend the lead. You're up 10-7. You could effectively go up 17-7
Right,
or 13-7.
right.
I know 13-7 doesn't light the world on fire, but it's much better than pick, get the ball back, and then defense, quick change. Why don't you go back out there?
Yeah, get back on the field.
It's just it's bizarre. He
It
did
is.
it against Ole Miss last year too.
And those and that's where I attribute probably like 70% of the leaving early to the frustration with where that is. And
Yeah, the way the first half ended, it starts off with a touchdown. It goes punt, punt, pick, pick, punt, punt, end. Like, okay, I've seen enough.
that does sound
what are
brutal.
What are we doing?
That sounds brutal.
10-7. All right, cool.
But what I will say is you can post the pictures of the crowd being empty and be like, oh, it's a problem across. LSU handles business this weekend against Vanderbilt at 11 a.m.
You get game day.
And it's a night game against Texas A&M, who's a top 10 team, undefeated. Maybe he's the most complete team in the SEC right now. I've seen the conversations, whatever. Who knows?
I haven't really
It
seen
is going
Texas
to
A&M
be
play.
a packed house that Saturday. If LSU goes out and handles business against Vanderbilt, you can say what you want about that there's this, that, or the other, and the fan base doesn't care. They're filtering out, blah, blah, blah.
I mean,
That place will be packed.
Auburn is very close a lot of times.
Oh, in games?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're battling. But they had a team captain leave the team?
Mm-hmm.
I
Because they wouldn't let him redshirt.
Yeah, I just with the crowd, you'll see against A&M, it'll be much different, depending on what happens this weekend and what also happens at the start of that game. But we shall see. Don't forget, every single day we're brought to you by All About Inflatables. AllAboutInflatablesDS.com is the website. Very, very simple, easy to use. Go to AllAboutInflatablesDS.com. You just hit the big red book now, and it'll take you through the step-by-step process of how to rent your inflatable, whether it's a water slide, but it's cooling off. So if you're going to get an inflatable, I suggest not to get a water slide. Get one of those dry combos, a bounce house, or maybe one of the interactives. But also, as the weather begins to cool off, that also means it's getting into holiday season. And the guys at All About have All About Holiday Lighting, 225-276-0608. All About Holiday Lighting on Facebook. Go check them out. Give them a follow. Call that number, 225-276-0608, and see how they can help you out with your holiday lights. They're going to do design, installation, storage. They'll give you a free estimate for both residential and commercial buildings. They will do some holiday lightings. So make sure you call them. Check it out. We will take a quick break. Be right back after this with Glenn West of 24/7 Sports.
And if we saw Jalen Carter Wardos was created in honor of Alan Ward Branning III, fondly known by family and friends as Wardo. In 2019, the oldest brother of the tribe passed away unexpectedly. His remaining siblings and loved ones wanted to honor his memory in a special way. In 2022, Ward's family decided to combine the need for a sandwich shop in downtown Natchez with a desire to pay tribute to Ward's love of good friends, good times, and great food. Through blood, sweat, tears, and countless hours of hard work, Wardo's was born. So go visit Wardo's today at 309 North Broadway Street in Natchez, where the po' boys are so good, you'll swear you're in Cajun country.
Hey, Miss Lou, come visit us, Tom and Wright Branding at Go Martin on the Go Deli.
Go Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you may need.
Located at the corner of Highland Boulevard and Highway 61 South in Natchez.
Also stop by Wardo's Po' Boys at 309 North Broadway on the beautiful Natchez Bluff,
where everyone is family.
When it comes to your home, the roof over your head matters. At CAS Roofing, we don't just install shingles, we build peace of mind. With years of experience and a commitment to craftsmanship, our team shows up on time, gets the job done right, and treats every project like it's our own home. Whether it's repair, a replacement, or storm damage that caught you off guard, CAS Roofing is ready. We're local, we're dependable, and we stand behind every nail, every shingle, and every promise we make. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about roofing, it's about protecting what matters most. CAS Roofing, built on trust, backed by quality.
Glenn in there. All right, welcome back here as we are live on this Tuesday morning. We appreciate you sticking with us here as we roll into hour number 2. Hunter Hall, what was I most upset about Saturday? Not meeting Noah or not having a po' boy straight from Wardo's. No offense, Noah, but I need a Wardo's po' boy. Fair enough. Wardo's is gas. That Turkey Tom, the Junkin. Make sure you go check out Wardo's in Nats. Shout out to our guy Tom Granning. We're going to dive right back into the LSU football conversation here at 8 a.m. this morning as we are joined by Glenn West from 24/7 Sports. Glenn, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, guys. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. We'll just get started Saturday night. What did you think about the offense? I think that there is a kind of a split feeling around maybe the fan base of the fact that you saw the flashes and there was improvement, but at the same time, a lot of the downfalls in that game offensively were self-inflicted wounds and mistakes you would have liked to see cleaned up prior.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there. I think there were some good things that we saw from the LSU offense on Saturday. I thought there was a lot of steps in the right direction, particularly from a health standpoint of, looking at Garrett Nussmeier and the way that some of these guys were moving. Trey'Dez Green had been a little bit limited in terms of just his movability and things of that nature. And he put together a really strong performance. Caden Durham, I thought, ran pretty well coming off that ankle injury that he had sustained earlier in the season. So I think there was some good from just a pure throwing perspective from Nussmeier. Obviously, the decision making is a different conversation and something that he's going to have to get cleaned up. LSU's going to have to get cleaned up for the offense to really take that next step. But this was a game, in my opinion, the further we get away from it, that LSU really should have won by 3-4 scores. I mean, it should have been 34-10 easy, right? Because you had the fumble at the 1-yard line from Juwan Johnson. You had the interception inside the 5-yard line from Nussmeier on just a really, really poor decision, a really poor throw. Just didn't even see the safety. And that was, according to Brian Kelly, that was his read on that play. So I don't know that that's something that you'll see a ton of going forward, like turning it over in that situation going forward. But certainly the mistakes that were made kind of outweighed, I think, some of the progress that you've made. But they put up 420 yards of offense. They did some things that I wanted to see. 30 carries on the night. They stuck to the run game. Got 166 yards out of it. I thought Nussmeier made some good downfield throws. There was a throw to Nick Anderson that wasn't quite completed for what could have been a touchdown. It looked like Anderson just kind of got tangled up with the defensive back there towards the end of that play. And then the deep ball to Chris Hilton, I thought, was a pretty good throw as well. So he was, taking shots. The ball looked like it was coming out of his hand a little bit cleaner, a little bit crisper, with a little bit more velocity. And so I think there were some good positive signs, and we got to now see LSU clean up those self-inflicted mistakes. And then the offensive line still remains a major area of concern for me going forward.
Yeah, and you bring up the rushing attack, and that's one place where I agree. I love the fact that they were able to commit to it, get 166 rushing yards. Because in my opinion, it felt maybe a little bit forced, but where I stand, I feel like you had to force it, especially the way it looked against Ole Miss. The fact that you didn't commit to it, you wouldn't do it, and when you did, it didn't look all that good because Brian Kelly talked about yesterday. It's a thing where you want to get them into the game, a feel for the game, and they showed that commitment early on, and I thought it bared weight later down in the game when you see Juwan Johnson break off a long run, same with Caden Durham. What was your take on the rushing attack? Did you feel like it was maybe forced a little bit, but that was a necessity?
I think it was good that they stuck to it. Like you have to establish some kind of balance there between the run and the pass. And I thought LSU had some efficient runs. I thought they had timely runs on third down to extend drives. Garrett Nussmeier even rushed for about 30 yards in this game. I actually lost a bet to my coworker Sonny Ship. We bet that I bet that Lenore Sellers would have more rushing yards than Garrett Nussmeier in this game, and that did not come to fruition, which was I think a really big a big bet for my guy Sonny to make, and he ended up being on the right end of that stick there. So I owe him lunch, but I think LSU did a nice job of establishing the run. I thought Caden Durham ran well. I thought that they opened up a couple holes there. They made some guys miss, and that was something that Brian Kelly also talked about yesterday. It was just how it's not just on the blocking, it's not just on getting the right calls or even just sticking to the run. They have to get these running backs in a position where they can break a few tackles to get into the second level. And I thought you saw Caden Durham do that a few times on Saturday as well. So you hate the fumble there at the goal line, but I think that's a learning moment for a guy like Juwan Johnson. I think he's a smart player. I think he's talented and is certainly going to be a part of this offense going forward. But you hope that this can be something they can build on going forward. And honestly, the competition's only going to get stiffer from here. I think Vanderbilt is a team that you can run a little bit on, but when you get to Alabama, to Oklahoma, those are going to be two very difficult run defenses to try to have some success with.
Wait, real quick, who came up with what side of the bet? Because if you'd have told me that was even an option, I would have lost a ton of lunches.
This was approached to me by our guy Sonny Ship. He had a lot of faith that LSU was going to be able to get into the backfield of South Carolina and rattle Lenora Sellers. I think he finished with 22 carries for 19 yards. I mean, it was a lot of sack yards in there, but that was part of the bet as well. So, and then you had the Nuss 21-yard run there in the fourth quarter that
you were the only guy in the press box that was upset.
I know. When Nuss broke off that run, it took me about 2 seconds to realize what had just happened, and I just kind of you could have had any kind of GIF of Bryan Cranston yelling the F word kind of meme. I mean, there were just there was a lot of things that came to my head for sure.
And I'll ask you to just touch on a little bit of the offense and to continue on to the offense. You use the word fixable. Brian Kelly's used the word fixable. I think everybody, when they've looked at the game on Saturday, they've used the word fixable. And I want to ask you, in your opinion and where you sit and the way you see where the program is currently, the issues that led to the negativity from Saturday night, whether it's turnovers, whether it's offensive line play, still maybe some issues in the run game. Where, for you, does the word fixable stand? Like, do you believe that those things that need to change are truly fixable?
I think the mistakes that LSU made on Saturday night are fixable. I think that they, obviously you've got to get in a room with Garrett Nussmeier and go through all these different plays and say, hey, like you can't be doing this. Like if we want to have a chance of beating Alabama and Oklahoma later this year, we can't be turning the ball over inside the 10-yard line or not converting inside the 10-yard line with touchdowns like they did, like they weren't able to do against South Carolina to really open that game up. I think for me, the one area of concern that I don't know is fixable, and honestly I think is deserving of a couple of personnel changes, is the offensive line. Like we've seen it now for 6 weeks. Like Brian Kelly really went to bat for Weston Davis yesterday. He's very high and bullish on his talent and the future of the program, but you've got to be able to either get him right over the next couple of weeks and really have some good development from him in these games, or I would be okay, or I would encourage making a change there, or just giving somebody else an opportunity. We saw what Carius Kern could do at that position a couple weeks ago. I think he's also an option at left guard. I think that there are some different things that you can do with this offensive line right now. That I just don't know LSU's ready to make those kinds of changes, those kinds of decisions, and just listening to what Kelly had to say on Monday, I don't think they're there yet either. So I think that's probably the one area there where I think you could where I would want to see some improvement, and I just don't know if they're going to be capable of doing it. But that ties into the pass game and it ties into the run game, just having more consistent offensive line play. And I thought, honestly, Nuss didn't take a ton of sacks in this game on Saturday night, but he got hit hard, quite a few times. Dylan Stewart was in the backfield quite consistently in that game, and you saw Nuss get up a couple different times and, a little bit gimpy on that ankle. It sounds like it's not anything serious, but he's, those kinds of shots you can only take so many of, as we've seen in the past with him. So, hopefully the offensive line can play better, but I have some serious reservations after what we've seen here these first 6 weeks of the year.
Yeah, I agree. And I have a hard time, I don't like maybe harping on struggles of a player, this, that, or the other. But after the Southeastern game, you had seen 4 games, and I questioned how you would be able to put Davis back on the field at right tackle. And then that was almost confirmed again, seeing Kern against Ole Miss. And even though he didn't play a clean game against Ole Miss, he wasn't perfect. I liked what I saw, and I felt like it was an improvement seeing Kern out there at right tackle. And so I was also very interested in the fact that BK went to the podium yesterday and said where they were at on the right tackle discussion. And I guess to elaborate on that a little bit more, I'll ask you, what change do you think should be made there? Is it Thompson getting flexed out and maybe moving someone inside, or is it Kern just going in and playing right tackle? Because where I stand, and I think you've alluded to it a little bit, South Carolina was a good football team, obviously a really good edge rusher, but you're about to see Vanderbilt, whose defense is better, Alabama, A&M, who both have better defenses, and like you said, Oklahoma at the end of the season, who has a better defense. You can't allow this to continue to happen, right?
No, I don't think so. I think you approach every game here with a little bit of a shorter leash. But, again, I just don't know that LSU's at that point yet. It certainly doesn't sound like it from what Kelly had to say. For me personally, I would love to see Kern at either right tackle or left guard. I'd love to see DJ Chester maybe working a little bit more at left guard. He's obviously been a veteran presence for a while now in this offensive line, and just hasn't had the start to his career maybe that he would have hoped, but he's still a guy that I think they have long-term belief in. And if the guys up front right now in the first 5 aren't getting it done, this is not really the kind of time to be building for the future. This is, you got to win these games. You've got to be able to pull away and have really strong offensive performances going forward. So I would certainly be wanting to see Kern in the rotation at right tackle, but like I said, I don't think LSU's there at this point. And if that's the case, then I hope Weston Davis is able to really improve as a player and really get this thing going, because Vanderbilt is not a great run stopping defense. They're not a great passing stopping defense, but they do get a lot of pressure on the quarterback. I think they have 18 or 19 sacks already this season as a front 7, and so they're able to apply pressure. They're able to get in the backfield and create some negative plays, and so LSU's offensive line is going to have to be ready for that.
Were you surprised by the way in which Brian Kelly answered that question in concerns or in regard to Weston Davis?
Yeah, I was a little bit. I thought he would maybe play it a little bit more, just kind of on both edges of the spectrum. Like, hey, we're believers in Weston Davis's talent, but we also need to have more consistent play there. And he did say that they have to get better with him in the run game, but they think that he's the answer. They think he's the answer there long term, and we'll see kind of what happens over the next several weeks. I mean, you hate to abandon a player who's only 6 games into his starting career, but you just need more consistent play there. You need more consistent play, honestly, across most of the offensive line. You hate to pick on Weston Davis, but there's a lot of guys that I think need to improve on this group, and I think that's maybe a bigger point that should be discussed, is just how they go about getting that development in season and why maybe it hasn't clicked to this point. And I don't have the answers, and hopefully they are starting to figure it out in the building, but the defenses that they're about to face are going to really put a lot of pressure on that group in particular.
And we were talking about this a little bit before you joined us. We were trying to we were talking about kind of what you were saying, like that could have been easily a 35-10 game, a 42-10 game with the way that LSU was. If you take away the mistakes, which you can't, and that's where I wanted to ask you: is this just who Garrett Nussmeier is? Like this, I don't see a world in which he changes. Like he's just going to make the occasional, like he's going to throw an interception.
Yeah, it's a very fair question, a very fair point. Like I thought coming into the year, one of the bigger things that he was going to have to show was that he could avoid making those blunders at such difficult points of the game. Like those were huge mistakes there where South Carolina was technically still in the game, and if you make those plays, you're putting yourself in a much better position to pull away there. So look, I thought the Clemson game was about as conservative and about as well or about as good of the decision making that we've seen from Garrett Nussmeier in a big game of his career. These last couple of SEC games, he's had some good throws, but also some really poor throws and poor decisions. And I think what Kelly said yesterday is important to know. Like they want him to be aggressive. They want him to be more aggressive going forward. And I think that they're willing to live with maybe one or two of those decisions, not working out for him. But he's going to have to start making some big plays down the field too to kind of combat those and maybe overcome some of the poor throws that he makes throughout the course of the game. So I'm still a believer in Garrett Nussmeier's talent. I think he's got a really good arm when he's locked in and focused and healthy more than anything. But the decision making is you can't make an argument for it. Like there's really really bad decisions there, and hopefully he can start not making them. But if they do happen to pop up every once in a while, as long as he's making other throws that are really important and really able to move the offense forward and lead to touchdowns, and I think it's something that LSU's just going to have to live with, because I do think he's their best option.
Yeah, and to talk about the positive aspects of the game, because there were plenty. The biggest was the defense once again. The defense I thought was even put in disadvantaged situations in multiple different occasions, and they continued to make plays. They were getting in the backfield. Like they ended, I think, the game with 5 sacks, and easily could have been 12 with the way that Sellers was shedding some of those tackles in the backfield. What did you see from the defense on Saturday?
Yeah, they did what they needed to do. Like the game plan going in was, okay, we got to stop Lenore Sellers from running all over us like he did last year, and they did that. They did a really nice job of doing that. The big 72-yard touchdown run they had in the first quarter was pretty much the only explosive play I think that offense had the entire game. It was good to see the defense bounce back from something like that and not let it have a ripple effect throughout the rest of the game. And I think that just points to how strong mentally this group has been to this point in the season, and the veteran leadership, the kind of minds that they have on that side of the ball. But I was really impressed with how they responded to that. And, I think there were some missed tackles in there. The problems that they had defensively were really with the South Carolina run game with the running backs, not with Lenore Sellers. And so, they allowed some of those running backs to get going a little bit, and they missed a few tackles. But I thought outside of that, the coverage was great down the field. They didn't allow much of a vertical passing game or much of a passing game at all, really. And they were able to get off the field pretty consistently. So another really solid performance from them, and I think it's a good precursor for what they're about to face here with Diego Pavia and Marcel Reed over the next couple weeks, because those are two very effective dynamic runners, guys that those two offenses really build a lot of their run game around. And so how LSU's defense is able to continue to build off of that performance against Lenore Sellers with those two guys on the way, I think is going to be really important to how they do over the next couple of weeks.
And one that I'll close it out with, obviously there were a lot of questions going into South Carolina. We talked about last week. Coming from Ole Miss into the South Carolina game, there were a lot of questions you wanted answered, things you wanted to see in that football game. And I thought that you saw the progression and you got some of those answers. What do you want to see this week going from South Carolina to Vanderbilt to see LSU be able to fix, improve on, to find a way to beat the Commodores on Saturday?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think probably for me, like the thing that you have to see from this offense is just eliminating the mistakes or trying to eliminate the mistakes, because if you go on the road to a top 20 team and a team like Vanderbilt that has as much confidence as maybe it's ever had as a program, this is going to be a huge game for them, and they're going to be up for it. And you can't give that team any kind of extra motivation, any extra sauce throughout the entirety of the game through your own mistakes. And it's going to be tough enough to go out there and win a clean game, but you can't give up any extra possessions to that offense in particular, because it has been one of the best in the SEC to this point. And so they haven't really faced a defense like LSU's. I don't think. They obviously Alabama is a solid defense, and they did, and that defense did really well against Vanderbilt last weekend. But I think LSU's defense is right there with Bama's, if not better. And they're going to have to go out there and really kind of set the tone, I think, again in this game. And then if you can just get a clean performance from the LSU offense, I thought that they showed that they could move the ball pretty consistently in the game on Saturday against South Carolina. Can you build on that, though, is going to be the big question. And I think there are opportunities there for Nussmeier in this vertical passing game to get going. It's just a matter of, can they do it? And we still haven't seen them be able to hit on some of those plays. I think you're going to have to hit on some of those plays. I think it's going to be a big game for Trey'Ez. It's going to have to be a big game for Aaron Anderson, for Xavion Thomas, for Marion Brown, those guys. Kyle Parker, I loved what they did with Kyle Parker in this game last weekend. I would love to see him get more opportunities too. But I think it really starts with just making cleaner decisions, not turning the ball over offensively, and then really just sticking to what you've been able to do so well, which is get after the quarterback in the backfield and not allow that player to really get going from a Vanderbilt perspective for LSU's defense. So there's a path to winning this game. There's a path to winning this game comfortably, in my opinion. But they're going to have to play their A game in order to accomplish it.
Well, Glenn, we appreciate your time, all the insight as always, and we'll talk to you again soon.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. There he is, Glenn West from Go247 at GlennWest21 over there on Twitter. He does great work, great insight as always. But yeah, no, I agree with him. I think that on the offensive line there, it's time for some shakeup, and because I don't know how moving forward in the games you have left, can't continue to put performances up like that.
But they're not going to change anything.
Yeah.
I thought that was very, I guess, eye-opening as to
the answer and the pressure.
We're going to, we're just going to ride with our guy. And it's, it seems like something that you should be more, what are they afraid of?
And that's the interesting part of that question. I like the way Glenn answered, where he said there are still bigger issues on the offensive line than just one player. Because that is true, 1,000%. But there also is a glaring issue at one spot. And that is the intriguing part to me. The intriguing part in that answer was where he said, almost like betting on the future a little bit, like putting in stock for what the future needs rather than right now. Because, in my opinion, it's all about right now. This team is here right now. The defense that you have right now, majority of those guys will not be here next year. This quarterback will not be here next year. A lot of these receivers will not be here next year. So it's all about right now. What gives you the best chance to win now? And that was the intriguing part of that answer to me, because I'm not of the mindset that you're building for the future right now. You're trying to win in 2025, right? This is the year. And we've talked about it all offseason into now. This is the season.
I don't think people are really going to give a fuck if you go next year when you're not really in the hunt for a national championship. But look how good Weston Davis is now. And it's because we got him all those reps whenever we were trying to I thought we were playing for championships. And it's no, we're just trying to develop here.
We're playing for championships. This is LSU. I'm saying this isn't an NFL training ground.
I could see Brian Kelly even next year being see, y'all wanted to take this man out the football game. Look at if he doesn't have those reps. I know last year didn't go the way we wanted it to, but at some point you have to make a call as a coach to be able to develop some of these guys. And now look at him. It's like, well, he's putting up 40 PFF grades, and I don't even know what that means, but it can't be good.
And this is your year, $18 million you put
And I'm not trying to harp on, it's not just one player,
it's
but
the whole group.
it's the whole offensive line,
It is.
and that's where I think
there's shakeup at multiple spots. I think left guard is also a conversation.
they know more than we do. It probably doesn't look good at any, it probably doesn't really matter.
Right.
And so we might as well just say that instead of
right.
No, I think we're just going to stick with him. Because everybody's got okay.
Just be honest that
because everybody's favorite player right now is Curious Kern.
Of course. Well, no, it's actually Michael Van Buren, but after that, it's Curious Kern.
You're right. Put both of them in.
Right. So we'll take a quick break here. We'll come back. We'll set up John Eads from WFB as he will join us to talk a little bit of football, but mostly dive in and recap LSU baseball as they had some fall ball over the weekend. We will be right back with Eads after this.
Wardo's was created in honor of Alan Ward Granning III, fondly known by family and friends as Wardo. In 2019, the oldest brother of the tribe passed away unexpectedly. His remaining siblings and loved ones wanted to honor his memory in a special way. In 2022, Ward's family decided to combine the need for a sandwich shop in downtown Natchez with a desire to pay tribute to Ward's love of good friends, good times, and great food. Through blood, sweat, tears, and countless hours of hard work, Wardo's was born. So go visit Wardo's today at 309 North Broadway Street in Natchez, where the po' boys are so good, you'll swear you're in Cajun country.
Hey, Miss Lou, come visit us, Tom and Wright Granning at Go Martin on the Go Deli.
Go Martin has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you may need.
Located at the corner of Highland Boulevard and Highway 61 South in Natchez.
Also stop by Wardo's Po' Boys at 309 North Broadway on the beautiful Natchez Bluff,
where everyone is family.
When it comes to your home, the roof over your head matters. At CAS Roofing, we don't just install shingles, we build peace of mind. With years of experience and a commitment to craftsmanship, our team shows up on time, gets the job done right, and treats every project like it's our own home. Whether it's a repair, a replacement, or a storm damage that caught you off guard, CAS Roofing is ready. We're local, we're dependable, and we stand behind every nail, every shingle, and every promise we make. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about roofing, it's about protecting what matters most. CAS Roofing, built on trust, backed by quality.
All right, welcome back here as we are closing out hour number 2 this morning. How about James Franklin making a quarter a second?
Just now. And again.
25 cents.
25 cents.
Quarter.
There's
$1.
Yep.
In 4 seconds.
$21,000 per day is
what a
wild.
life.
$15 per minute. That's like Bucky's salary.
That's crazy. They can still pay people those prices when how much product that leaves their shelves.
That's called spillage. It happens everywhere.
We appreciate all of you joining us this morning, hanging out with us here on this Tuesday morning.
Don't act like those fat little porkers in there aren't eating whole sandwiches and then throwing them away. Like, I'm not the only one.
It would be difficult if I was working in the little deli part where they have the brisket sandwiches and to not be like. Yeah.
It's part of the
Whoops.
gig. Yeah, oops. A whole sandwich.
Yep, gone.
And I was thinking like the little fat kids. Like they're all eating candy and running around and like it's a free-for-all in there.
It like when you elaborated and said that it's easy to steal from there, I could see the vision. I choose not to.
They're begging you. They got too much product. They need to get rid of some of it.
Fair enough.
Welcome to Buc-ee's.
We appreciate all of you hanging out with us, and we appreciate John Eads joining us this morning, the hardest working man in Baton Rouge media, John Eads. John, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, guys. Good to see you. Thanks for having me. Appreciate the kind words. And been watching the show recently. Appreciate y'all promoting my baseball work. It means a lot.
Of course. I mean, look, you make our lives easier. You've been crushing it out there as always, and we appreciate you. And we'll start there with baseball. Just overarching, what did you see? A couple of things that stood out to you over the weekend.
Well, kind of just laying a base, and figuring out who the new guys are and seeing what they got and kind of getting the numbers straight with who the new people are and whatnot. But with that said, there's a decent amount of guys back, and they continue to play well and just build on what they've done already. Stephen Milam had a good day on Friday at the plate and also in the field. He had a home run to right field. He had a double left field, and then made a double play himself, which was impressive. One of those solo double plays that I've only really ever seen him turn. I don't know if that's just a him thing or what, but he's very good at that. Jake Brown had a nice day on Sunday. I feel like Jake Brown usually plays well on Sundays, like during the season, and now apparently in the fall, Sunday's just his day, Golfs a homer to right center field, and also had a single. And then from a pitching standpoint, haven't really seen anybody, and I think this is just a fall thing because guys are out there, they're trying to build up their arsenal, they're trying new things, guys are adjusting to throwing to new people and stuff like that. Nobody's really gone out there and dominated from what I've seen. Now, I've missed a couple of innings here and there because I've had other things I've had to tend to. But William Schmidt threw 2 innings the other day and had 3 strikeouts. This freshman, Reagan Ricken, threw 2 shutout innings the other day. And that's the other thing. It's only 2 innings here, 2 innings there. It's a small sample size. But waiting to see, some pitchers continue to show some development. I think there's a few that are back from last year that, like Grant Fontenot, DJ Primo, guys that I think they're going to rely on that I think are still looking to turn the corner and put it all together. So those are kind of some of my initial thoughts, plenty more than that. But, the returners are playing well, and then some of the new guys are showing out as well.
Yeah, and obviously the outfield feels like it's going to be the best in college baseball with the guys they have. They have a national championship outfield, and we know that because the guys out there have won a national championship. But there's going to be some new faces in the infield. Who are some of the guys that stood out to you at first base, second base, third base, as those spots maybe aren't as set in stone at this point?
Yeah, Zach York is playing a lot of first, and seen him play a little bit of defense. He tracked down a bunt that was popped up into foul territory. He's been catching the ball well when it's thrown his way, and then obviously he's got it at the plate too. He had a 2 RBI double on Sunday. He's had a couple other good hits. I think he had a double on Thursday or Friday last week. So he's a guy that's known for his bat, but obviously you need someone to play first as well, and he's been pretty solid there so far. From what I've seen, Trent Caraway's been playing a lot of third, the Oregon State transfer, and he's looked pretty solid over there. A player that a lot of people were excited about. They made it to the NCAA tournament last year. He got most valuable player for the Corvallis Regional, and a lot of it had to do with his offense. So if he could bring that defense, that'd be great too. So been noticing that. John Pearson's been playing third base and looks like he's slimmed down some. Some people are running rampant in the comment section on social media saying he needs to trim down even more and work on his fundamentals and all these things. And it's like, just keyboard warrior stuff. But he's been working hard. He had a really good summer in the Northwoods League with his bat. And it'd be huge if you can kind of find a way to get, he on the field along with York and Caraway. But you also got Seth Dardar from Kansas State and Simpson from High Point. So there's just a lot of guys to fit into this picture, and it's going to be difficult to do that. One other guy that stood out to me so far, Ethan Claus. He's a freshman shortstop. I don't think he'll play short this year, obviously, because of Stephen Milam. But maybe he'll find a role at second base or third base. He's looked really good on defense, turning double plays, rifling the ball across the diamond from short to first defensively. So he's a freshman that's really stood out to me so far.
And obviously with this team, there are going to be very, very high expectations. And I wanted to ask you just about the crowd when you were out there. What did the turnout look like? We were messing around last week saying that if LSU would have dropped the game on Saturday, Sunday would have been a packed house in Alec Box. What did it look like out there Thursday, Friday, and Sunday?
It's a lot more packed and attended than last year in the fall. I feel like there was maybe, 50 people at these scrimmages. And the one on Sunday, I was pulling up and I was like, is there some kind of event going on around here I don't know about? Because the parking lot was pretty full, as if U-High was playing a home football game. So there was a decent amount of people there, like a lot of seats behind the plate filled in, and people out and about, kids running around and stuff. So a lot more people at the scrimmages this year that I've noticed so far than last year. But with that said, when I went out to Biloxi for the fall stuff last November, I think that place was sold out. So, these people are craving baseball year round. And I think when you win a national championship, it means more people are going to attend your scrimmages to kind of see what the team has. And, they're not expecting a drop-off. Jay recruited very well. They brought in some great talent. So, they're trying to get on the ground floor of seeing this team at its beginning stages and see it build throughout the fall, the spring, and then into the season. And so it's cool to see, a lot of people there. So it's encouraging.
Yeah, and I think, and I'll ask you, how much stock do you put into the mindset of LSU football struggling or losing or not playing well? People start to turn their attention to what's next, and for a lot of people, that's LSU baseball. Do you think that that's a real mindset and kind of maybe place that a lot of the fan base can go?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so. The season's a long ways away, but it might cheer you up if LSU's losing to see Stephen Milam crank a bomb into the bleachers, and think in the back of your head, all right, well, South Carolina or whoever, A&M or, whoever might have us right now, but by the time we roll into, April, May, we'll have them on the baseball diamond. So you kind of got that to, the ace in your back pocket. It's kind of like in high school sports when the student section will chant at a game about a different sport, let's play baseball. Right. That's kind of what it is,
I just wanted to hit on some of the returners. You saw Stanfield make the move to left field, and then Curiel makes the move to center. A lot was made that he put on 20 pounds. Was this a noticeable 20 pounds to you? Because obviously I could only see it through the lens of the camera, but did he look like he had bulked up a good bit? And I would also say the same thing for Jake Brown. He looked like he has put on some muscle as well. So, like Noah said, all three returning in the outfield, all three champions, but it feels like they may have changed their body types a bit.
Yeah, Derek looked a little more filled out at the press conference, filling out the clothes and stuff like that. And obviously it's translating to his game. Jake looked in better. I mean, he's always been in good shape, but he looked in like,
jacked.
Season. Yeah, I know. Season's right now kind of shape, Big year for both of them. Like DC, this could be his last year in Baton Rouge, as sad as it is to say and hear for some people, because he's a draft eligible sophomore. And then Jake, I mean, this is his junior year. So obviously the goal for his professional prospects is to have another great year here and then go pro next year. So I'm sure they both have attacked the offseason, extremely hard. Neither of them had to play summer ball or, I say had to, but you know what I mean? They didn't really have to play summer ball. They weren't told they needed to, and they had enough ABs and stuff, obviously, last year. So they could focus on, relaxing a little bit, letting their body recover, but also getting after it with Chris Martin in the weight room and improving physically to get ready for the season. Because I think Derek said he lost like 6 pounds or something like that, or maybe 10 throughout the season last year. Because it's hard to keep putting on weight when you're putting that much stress on your body, 4 times a week playing games, and then you're practicing, and you got to be a student still and all these things. So it's hard to, get the meals in and get the weights in and all of that during the season. So the off season was the time to kind of attack that and do that. And there's still a long way to go. I mean, there's still 4 or 5 months until the season begins, and they can continue their physical development along with their baseball development. So it's exciting, and hopefully it unlocks new parts of their game.
And another person that we had, Bryce Kuno, on yesterday for the Mic'd Up with Mikey and Jay Mitch, and he said that the one player that stood out to him was on the pitching mound with William Schmidt, who seems to have developed a new pitch. They didn't know really what to call it, if it was a slider or just a cut fastball, whatever it was. Did you see anything from Schmidt, or is that one of the guys that you didn't have the privilege of seeing?
I rolled up on Sunday in the second inning. I had to go to the LSU volleyball match before. So I caught his second inning and 2 of his outs, but not the first. And it's kind of hard for me to notice pitches from where I stand and while I'm filming. Yeah. But that could only help him, expanding his arsenal. I mean, this is why he was so, sought after by the pro teams, by LSU, college teams, is because of his potential. And I feel like there's a lot that you can do with him. And if you can find some new pitches and stuff to expand that and really tap into his potential, so that can't hurt. I mean, he looked good in the inning that I saw. He had I think a fly ball or a ground out and a strikeout, and then gave up a single. But that was it. The control looked good. I don't think he walked anybody. I'd have to check my footage back. If he did, he didn't hit anybody. And that was really his issue last year, was just the walks and the lack of control. Because kind of like Jacob Myers, when he put it in the zone and when he was locked in, he was pretty tough to hit. I mean, he gave up contact here and there, but he was pretty dang good. It's just you can't roll somebody out there that you can't trust to consistently throw strikes, So that's the hope for William Schmidt this fall. And I'm excited to see him continue to take the mound and, put together a resume this fall that would lend to people having some more confidence in him.
And just want to touch on football for a second before we close it out. What were some of your takeaways from the performance Saturday night? Obviously, there's some positives, still some negatives with some of the mistakes. But what did you see from LSU on Saturday?
It was better, but it was kind of a carbon copy of the Florida game, Right. I thought the offense showed some more explosion. They had some more home run plays on the ground and through the air. What you can't have, obviously, though, is those red zone turnovers. Like, those are going to absolutely kill you against a good team. And, Brian Kelly in his postgame said the same stuff he said after Florida. We just needed to find a way to win the game, and that's all fine, and I can understand that. But you're not just going to be able to do that. And what I mean by that is play with a lead and have control of the game. I mean, LSU seemingly had control of that game the whole time. Like, I don't know if anybody's confidence, even when it was a 7-point game, this maybe is why half the stadium left. I don't know that anybody really was threatened by South Carolina. And it's because they're not a good team. Right. Like, they're just not. They have a solid defense. They don't have a passing game. they had that 70-yard touchdown run, and that was essentially their offense for the entire night. Like, it's not a good team. When you play against these better teams, A&M, even Vandy, Alabama, you're not just going to be able to go up 7-0 and kind of piece together an ugly win. Like, it's just not going to work. You need to bring your A-level football, whatever that might look like. And I just don't know if this team is ever going to get to that, or if we've already seen that A-level football. And obviously that's just not going to be good enough to beat some of these SEC teams. So that's what I would say. The defense was good again. You got to capitalize off of turnovers better. You can't leave points on the football field. Not going to hurt you against SC. It's going to hurt you against Vandy. It's going to hurt you against Bama. It's going to hurt you against A&M. So it was a step in the right direction, but there's still a lot more that they need to find and show if they can to beat some of these teams coming up, because the schedule is getting ruthless. And it starts this weekend where you go to Nashville as an underdog against a very solid Vanderbilt team. So it was better coming out of a bye, but it's still not enough for me to sit here and be confident in what I thought this team could achieve preseason. So hopefully they continue to, build that confidence for everybody going forward.
And Jay Johnson gets his wish. He had asked, he had begged Greg Sankey for a night game for LSU Texas A&M. Have you ever seen anything where it feels like that? I guess the football games do make a difference for LSU. Like, it's almost as if Jay needs LSU to win as bad as Brian Kelly does, so he can get the correct atmosphere for showing these recruits.
Right. It'll be packed up anyway, and he was saying that obviously just because he wants it to be a great atmosphere for the ring ceremony, because at halftime, the guys from the 25 baseball team are going to get their rings and get honored in front of the crowd. So that's what he was concerned about. But yeah, I mean, it can't hurt to bring these recruits into the stadium and show them everything about football game day and say, hey, this is what it's like here, and it's really the same thing at the baseball diamond. It's just not as many people, but certainly as, if not more, electric, So yeah, and Jay's an advocate for the football team. I interviewed him last year at that Biloxi thing, and it was Alabama week, and he ended the interview saying, let's go, big game this week, let's beat, so he supports the other programs, and I think that was cool of him to do there. So
yeah, and
what's that?
I said he's there a ton. He's always on the sidelines before the game. So I know, and he's a former football guy. His dad coached football as well, so I know he has an interest in it. But I mean, I couldn't imagine recruiting or being able to bring a recruit to the Texas A&M game at night. Then it's like, oh, and by the way, that's the team that won the national championship last night. You're all getting rings. Like, pretty easy to make pretty easy pitch.
And then you got, Paul Skeens, Tommy White, Trey Morgan, like all just showing up to fall scrimmages, just for fun, I mean, it's just, it's nuts. It really is.
It's a great culture.
It is. Well, John, we appreciate your time. Thank you for joining us, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Sounds good. Love the new studio, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Appreciate you.
All right. Thank you, sir.
There he is, John Eads, WAFB. At John Eads WFB on Twitter. Go check him out over there. We appreciate him joining us this morning as we're going to close it out here, play our trivia, some athletic connections, and try to go 13 for 13 to finish off this Tuesday morning's show. As I think BB's returned just in time. Say he's going to go enjoy some sunshine outside. And
we were positive
make it back
today.
For trivia. We were. He wasn't doing it because of us, I think.
It was it was a little chilly this morning.
It felt great. It felt excellent when I walked outside. It's football weather. That's what that is.
Yeah, that's chilly eating weather. If you make yourself a jumbo.
Sicko.
Extra corn.
Let's see.
A little bit of rice.
We've got
Iron Man. Red Sox. Patriots.
Bruins. Oh, yeah. Spin. There you go. And then who beat the other one?
The Revolution?
The Boston Revolution.
I think it's by soccer.
Maybe. Is it? There you go. Good job.
Yeah.
Let's see. You have
Speed streak, speed figure, action Orioles. Damn it. Stick figures.
the Orioles. Like it's got to be the baseball team, right?
They could be the bird.
What else would be? I mean, the only
Figure. Oh.
Yeah. Oh. Orioles, 8, Iron Man,
Cal.
and Streak.
Yeah.
Cal Ripken. There it is.
Nice. I got
once I saw Orioles in 8,
it clicked. I got really juiced his numbers, huh? Stat patter.
We don't use that language around here.
Stat patter?
Yeah, I don't like those words.
Why?
That's what people who say about LeBron.
Oh. No.
LeBron's not a
longevity.
Stat there you see. Amen. Amen.
I mean, it's different when Cal, he was just playing the game. He's not impacting the game.
Right.
LeBron is impacting. Well, now he's hurt because he played too much.
Okay.
Hey, he's going to get his shots. He's going overseas.
Yeah. What was it, Germany? Is that where he heads over to?
People get mad at him. It's not my fault.
Deal with it.
Thought about it.
He's smarter than everyone else.
I hope he's at the Celebrity Bash Up.
Nope, it's Tom Hanks and Ryan Seacrest.
It is. It's a cute boy.
No, it's not.
I think he looks good. It looks like a real person.
It does look like a real person, at least, but CVO LeBron is a lab rat stat passer.
It's okay.
Hunter Hoss LeBron is a drunk.
He is that.
Hey, Henny.
I'm going to get some.
Recently named the Titans interim head coach Mike McCoy was previously the head coach of which AFC franchise? Mike McCoy, I recognize the name. Mike McCoy.
He wasn't the Browns. I think I would remember. That was very well documented.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of AFC. It's not the Texans. It's not
Chargers?
Maybe. Yep. That's what the chat says. The Chargers. The Los Angeles Chargers. Nice. College football. Here we go. After transferring from UAB, this Indiana Hoosiers running back had over 1,200 rushing yards in 2015 before becoming a Bears draft pick. A Bears running back out of Indiana. Is it the short guy? 24. Howard? Jordan Howard? Yeah, 24 Jordan Howard. I know Jordan Howard. Beautiful.
Nice.
Great job, Wyatt.
Tommy Edman.
Won a gold glove with this National League team in 2021.
Before earning 2024 NLCS MVP honors.
And winning a World Series.
With the Dodgers. I have no idea what we just read.
Me neither.
Because we did it that way.
We did it like that.
Won a gold glove with his National League team in 2021 before earning 2024 NLCS MVP honors and winning a World Series with the Dodgers.
So what team? Cardinals? They're in the National League. I trust you. There you go, Wyatt. Earn your keep. The New Deal.
Oh.
It was was this not FDR?
That's what I thought. But I get it confused.
Pretty sure it's FDR's New Deal. And what was the Fireside Chats?
Mm-hmm.
That was him. Let's go. We know history.
We know history. We know
brand
candy.
of snacks consists of deep fried corn kernels, and its logo features half the name in yellow letters and the other half in red letters below it.
Is this
corn nuts?
Yeah, I don't know what the deep fried corn kernel is. It's not popcorn. That's microwaved. Is it? What's a Cracker Jack? What's a corn nut? It's corn nut time. Oh, yes.
I've never even had one, but I know my snacks.
Produced by Michael Mann. Don Johnson. And Philip Michael Thomas.
In this hit NBC crime drama.
Is this Miami Vice?
1984 to 1990. I have no idea. Tad bit before my time. I've not gone back and watched Miami Vice. I trust your instinct, though.
I just remember Don Johnson. Yeah.
Don Johnson.
Don Juan Johnson.
What's he ever done?
Big Don Johnson.
Oh, he's a philanthropist. Really? For starring multiple blockbusters in 2010, this actor 2020 filmography: The Materialist, The Gray Man, Honey Don't Red One.
Is this Liam Neeson?
Ghosted. No.
Here's
The Gray Man was what's his name? The Gray Man had Gosling was the Gray Man. Red One, I feel like I watched. Maybe it's him. No. Oh, it's Gray Man was the villain was Captain America. Chris Evans. That's who this is.
Chris Brown, also a villain.
Chris Christie.
Also a villain. Camel toe thief.
That's a moose knuckle coach.
That's a moose, yeah.
This singer won the 3rd season of American Idol and played who?
C.U.E. Johnson.
In The Color Purple, both on Broadway in the 2023 film adaptation.
Ruben Studdard.
I have no idea. Kelly Clarkson. She won American Idol. That was like season 1.
I think she was the first one to win. Still can't find one better.
No, still.
And then it was Clay Aiken. I think Ruben got second that year, then I stopped watching. So I didn't make it to season 3. They're going to know in the chat.
What's the chat? Fantasia.
Oh, nice.
Sick. Didn't know she won American Idol.
9 for 9.
Bang!
13 for 13.
What a good way to close it out.
Thank you. We actually did that with ourselves, except for Fantasia.
We did. Shout out to Wyatt.
And Wyatt.
Wyatt's got some useless knowledge in that brain.
Yeah, he's useless just like we are.
Yep. Fits right in. We appreciate all of you joining us this morning, hanging out with us here on this Tuesday morning as we get ready for LSU Vandy on Saturday, 11 a.m. Do not forget, live watch party from Golf Suites, 11 a.m. on Saturday. We expect to see all of you there. An early morning, come join us. Watch the game live with us from Golf Suites in Baton Rouge, right there off Segan Lane. We will be there. We'll get there. I think they open at 10. We'll probably be there at 10. We'll be live at 11
Licking
watching some
chops.
LSU football. Make sure you join us. We want to see you.
And you. Oh.
Yeah.
And you. Oh, the keyboard is enabled.
It's okay. Almost got it.
And you.
You.
And me. And Watt.
Yeah, everybody.
Yeah, Watt, you should come.
Golf Suites, Saturday morning, 11 a.m. We'll see you there, and we'll see you tomorrow morning, 7 to 9.
James Franklin made roughly $1,826 for the duration of this show.
Nice. Congrats to him.
I mean, I'm not even mad. I'm jealous.
Yeah.
What job would you actually be mad if you got fired from? Like, do you think he actually wanted to continue to do a good job?
Yeah.
And then they're like, here's $25 million.
Right
we hate
now.
you this much.
We hate you $50 million.
And because
worth.
Coach...
That's got to be a tough feeling.
Yeah.
Like, as much as it's nice to get $50 million for nothing,
it's like a divorce.
We hate you so much, we're going to pay you $50 million to never see us again.
Yeah, like I said, it's like divorce. Like, I'll give you half of my shit if you are never in my life ever again. I hate you. Like, I don't ever want to see you again. And you can have half of whatever I got. I don't care. Go, be gone.
Have it.
Have it. Take it.
You'll
crazy.
You'll be having that.
Yes.
It is wild.
$50 million is a great divorce.
$50 million is unbelievable.
Does he have kids?
I don't know.
What's his name? James?
James Franklin.
James Franklin. Wife. Fumi Franklin. Yeah, they have children.
What's her name?
Fumi. Fumi once. Shame on me. Fumi
all
twice.
I could think of was Austin Powers with the backpacks. When the little Asian girls that turn around and what their names were. You don't remember that?
Oh, fuck me and fuck you.
When you
Fuck
said
me.
That's all I could...
Nice, I forgot about the backpack.
Yeah.
All right. Good for you, James Franklin.
Yeah,
Good
shout
for
out
you,
James
Fumi.
Franklin.
Fumi once. I buy you out.
Boom, we can't get fooled again.
No, that Penn,
Fool me one
Penn,
time,
yeah, what's
shame on
crazy
you.
is Penn State has made worse decisions.
Fool me twice, fool me 3 times. F the peace sign, load the chop, and let it rain on you. We'll be back tomorrow morning, 7 to 9 a.m.
Who sings that?
J. Cole.
To the poet.
Jermaine.
Where is...
From 7 to 9, when you see that notification, we about to go live. Hit this track and do you dance